is why you need to ditch reward and step charts. This is particularly for teachers, and it's quite a controversial topic because these are pretty much the dominant view for classroom management, how to manage children's behavior. So let me just give you an example of what we're talking about. I just need to pop back here and find one of my overlays. Right, so this is an example of what we're talking about, where, for instance, students will be pegged at, a level. So this is in broad view for everyone in the classroom, and they will be on there at what level they're at. And the comment here by Brad Weinstein is, clip charts can humiliate students and demand strict forced obedience rather than authentic improvement. And that pretty much sums up what I want to share with you. So I'm just going to remove that overlay and come back to you. So one of the issues with this type of formula for managing behavior is that it is, in fact, a behavior management tool and comes from a view that the behavior is the problem, and so the behavior is what we need to manage. And the reality is that, in fact, behavior is not actually the problem. The problem lies beneath the behavior, and the behavior is, in fact, the symptom. So by working at a behavioral level, it's like a Band-Aid job. And essentially, with a child that is really struggling, working at a behavior level is like putting a Band-Aid on a wound that really needs stitching. And so it doesn't work. So let's look at the neuroscience behind why it doesn't work and the injustice actually that students are experiencing through this process. So for all human beings, not just children, when we are doing good, our brain, we're talking about at a brain level here, is functioning really well. So the limbic system, which is the emotional part of the brain, is working well in conjunction with the prefrontal cortex, which is the thinking, calculating part of the brain. It's where impulse control comes from. It's where good reasoning comes from, where good judgment comes from. And so in order for us to make good choices, have good behaviors, we need the prefrontal cortex to be switched on. But what we know from a brain science, from a neuroscience perspective, is that if there's something emotional going on, that part of the brain stops being engaged properly. And so good thinking is suspended. That's the way I like to describe it anyway. Now, as adults, we understand this ourselves. How often do we go into a room and we can't remember why we went in there? Or how often do we say or do something that we normally wouldn't say or do because we're feeling angry? We have the same issues. So if it requires good thinking in order to have good reasoning and good judgment, what it means is that a rewards and consequences type of system is actually rewarding the children that are on track. The children that don't have anything that is going on for them that is causing their good thinking to be suspended. And it is actually humiliating, shaming, and taking away the dignity of students who are struggling with something and need extra support. And so that's where the injustice comes in, because we are now actually saying to a student who is struggling, well, you don't get the reward because you didn't behave right, or you get to be on the step chart because you didn't behave right. And their ability to make good decisions and behave on track and do what is expected of them is suspended because something is going on for them. So we see that there is injustice and there is also the stripping away of dignity when we publicly disclose what is going on for these kids. So I have another graphic here, and this is another reason that why we should ditch clip charts is because we will find that there's always some that might be in the red, or there's always some that might be in trouble. There's always some that they're getting into stuff or have a sad face or always upset, who are always talking. And we're not actually helping that turn around. We're not actually helping students get back on track when we just publicly share with everybody where they're at. I'd just like us as adults for a moment to reflect on, if you're having a hard day, would you want there to be a poster on the wall that's saying you're having a hard day for everybody to see? Or do you prefer to get on with it and, work your way to being back on track? Nobody wants to have their state of mind, their state of being publicized to the world. So why do we think that young children should experience that, or that it's even okay to do that to them? So these are my reasons why you should ditch rewards and step charts. There are better ways. There are other ways, and I'll save those for some coming videos that I'll share with you. But for the moment, I would just love you to reflect on the damage that we're doing using reward charts and step charts as ways of managing behavior. We are basically congratulating and rewarding students because their life is okay, and punishing and giving consequences and taking the dignity away and humiliating and shaming those that are struggling with something and need extra support. How is that fair? How is that justice? Subhanallah. So I'd love you to reflect on that and think about that in your practice, in your classroom, inshallah. And in the meantime, if you would love to learn more about you can create a captivating classroom with confidence, compassion, and inner calm, please go to captivatingclassrooms.com and learn more with my webinar that I have there, totally free of charge. So captivatingclassrooms.com, the link is on the screen and the link is with the video. Jump in there and see what else you can learn about creating a captivating classroom, inshallah. Look forward to seeing you in there. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.